Hey there, my name's John. Just John. Not John the financial guru or John the millionaire next door. I'm just an everyday guy. I work a normal 9 to 5, I pay my mortgage, and for most of my adult life, I did what I was told. I followed the blueprint for success that our parents and their parents passed down. Work hard, live below your means, and save every single penny you can. I was obsessed with it. I had budgeting apps, spreadsheets. I could tell you the price of a can of beans at 3 different grocery stores. I'd pack my lunch every day, brew my own coffee, and say no to nights out with friends, all so I could watch that number in my savings account tick up. And it did, slowly but surely. I felt a sense of pride, of security. I had a safety net. I thought I was winning. I thought I was building a future. But I had this nagging feeling, this quiet anxiety in the back of my mind that I couldn't shake. I was doing everything right, but I wasn't getting anywhere. My life wasn't really improving, I was just accumulating. I wasn't building wealth, I was building a bigger cage. A comfortable cage, sure, but a cage nonetheless. And one day it hit me like a ton of bricks. All that saving, all that discipline, all that sacrifice, it was actually keeping me poor. Now, that sounds crazy, right? Blasphemous even. Save your money is the first commandment of personal finance. But hear me out. For about a decade, I funneled money into a high-yield savings account. I was proud of that high yield. I think it was 1% at the time. Sometimes a little more, sometimes less. But while I was celebrating my 1% gain, the world outside my bank account was changing. The price of groceries went up 3% that year. Gas went up 5%. The cost of just living was outpacing my savings by a huge margin. My money wasn't growing, it was shrinking. Every dollar I saved was worth less a year later. This invisible force, inflation, was acting like a thief, silently stealing the value of my hard work while my money just sat there. I was running on a financial treadmill, sweating and sacrificing just to stay in the same place. In reality, I was slowly moving backward. Saving money felt safe, but it was a guaranteed loss. It was like I was carefully protecting a block of ice in a warm room, proud that it wasn't melting faster, instead of using that water to grow something. The second piece of the puzzle was something I'd never really considered: opportunity cost. That's a fancy term for a simple idea. By choosing to do one thing with your money, you're giving up the opportunity to do something else. My choice was safety. I parked my money in a savings account where it couldn't be hurt. But that also meant it couldn't work. It was like having a team of brilliant employees and telling them to just sit in the break room all day. They're safe, they're not making any mistakes, but they're not producing anything either. Meanwhile, that same money could have been invested. It could have been buying tiny little pieces of the biggest, most successful companies in the world through something as simple as a low-cost index fund. While my savings were earning 1%, the average stock market return over the long haul has been closer to 10%. I wasn't just losing to inflation, I was missing out on the single most powerful wealth-building engine in history: compound growth. I was so focused on not losing a dollar that I missed the chance to earn 10 or 100 or 1,000 over time. I was playing defense with my finances, trying not to get scored on. I never even tried to put the ball in the net. This whole mindset, the saver's mindset, is rooted in fear. Fear of the stock market crashing, fear of making a bad decision, fear of losing what you've worked so hard for. And that fear is paralyzing. It makes you value holding on to what you have more than creating something new. My aha moment was when I was looking at a down payment for a house. I'd saved for years, but in that time, house prices in my area had skyrocketed. My saved up down payment wasn't enough anymore. The goalpost had moved while I was standing still. I felt defeated. I had played the game by the rules and I was still losing. That's when I knew something had to change. I didn't go out and dump all my money into some risky stock. I didn't become a gay trader. The first thing I did was invest in myself. I started reading. I devoured books on investing, on the economy, on how money actually works. I spent my evenings learning about index funds, asset allocation, and the incredible power of just consistently investing over long periods of time. I traded my fear for knowledge, and knowledge, I realized, is the antidote to fear. I had to fundamentally change my relationship with money. I stopped seeing it as something to be hoarded and protected. I started seeing it as a tool that could be used to build a real future, not just a safety net for a rainy day. My new strategy became a 3-step process. First, I built a proper emergency fund. This is crucial, and this is where a savings account is perfect. 3 to 6 months of living expenses, sitting in cash, liquid and accessible. This isn't an investment, this is insurance. It's the buffer that lets you sleep at night and gives you the confidence to do other things with your money. Second, any money beyond that emergency fund got a new job. Its job was to go out and work for me. I started investing automatically every single month into a diversified portfolio of low-cost index funds. I wasn't trying to pick the next big thing, I was just buying a slice of the entire economy and letting it grow. I treated it like a bill: mortgage, electricity, investment, non-negotiable. And third, I started looking for ways to increase my income, not just cut my expenses. The saver's mindset is all about shrinking your life to fit your budget. The investor's mindset is about expanding your means. There's a limit to how much you can save, but there's no limit to how much you can earn and invest. Look, I'm not rich, not by a long shot, but for the first time in my life, I feel like I'm actually getting somewhere. I feel empowered, not scared. I still check my accounts, but I'm not looking at a stagnant savings balance anymore. I'm looking at a portfolio that represents my ownership in the world's progress. Some months it's down, some months it's up, but over time the trajectory is clear. It's a path towards freedom, a path where my money is working just as hard for me as I worked to earn it. Saving money isn't bad, it's the essential first step. It's your foundation, but it's not the house. Thinking a giant pile of cash in a bank account will make you wealthy is a trap. It's a recipe for falling behind in a world where costs are always rising. True financial security doesn't come from hoarding cash, it comes from owning assets. Assets that grow, that produce income, and that build wealth over time. Don't let the fear of losing keep you from the opportunity of winning. Change the goal from just saving to saving with the purpose of investing. Your future self will thank you for it. All right, that's all I've got for today. Just my 2 cents from one everyday person to another. Now, for the important part, I am not a financial advisor. This video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and should not be considered financial advice. You should always do your own research and consult with a licensed financial professional before making any investment decisions. Seriously, it's your money, be smart about it. If any of this resonated with you, or if you've had a similar journey, do me a favor and hit that like button. And if you want to hear more about navigating this stuff from a regular guy's perspective, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps more people find this conversation. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one.